We are starting the vlog at the Rio All Suites Casino and something else today. I'm sure you can guess we are starting here because the World Series of Poker is in town. So your next question might be, Jamin, what events are you playing in this year's WSOP? To which the answer is, I don't know. I'm not playing an event today. The only reason I'm coming here today is to look at the spectacle of the whole thing, visit some friends, and then it's a cash game. Cash game night tonight. Okay, that was a very quick and very uneventful trip to the Rio to see the proceedings at this year's WSOP. Halls were kind of empty. A bunch of tournaments were going on, but getting video footage in the tournament room, it's tricky. It's very hard to do. And plus, what are you going to see? A bunch of people sitting at tables? You don't need to see that. So we're off. We're going to take off. Going to head to the Bellagio. We're gonna get in some cash games. Cash games. So here's the deal. It is 4:30 on a Saturday. By now you figured out I'm at the Bellagio because of the horrible lighting. But we aren't staying here all night. We're going to get into a 5-10 session right now, then we're getting the hell out of here. This will not be an all-night affair here at the Bellagio. I'm not saying we're not going to play poker all night, because we might. The wind is right down the street. We're just not going to be at the Bellagio all damn night, I can tell you that. I think. Okay, the last time I picked up this camera was approximately an hour and 45 minutes ago. In that hour and 45 minutes, I did nothing but wait for a 5-10, 10-20, or 2-5 game at the Bellagio. So needless to say, it is packed. So since the Bellagio is so packed, I think we're going to change gears a bit, check out the Encore, maybe run good again there today, like last night, catch lightning in a bottle twice. I don't know. We're playing it by ear. See how it goes. A little bit different vlog tonight. Yes, we are playing poker. Yes, we are at the Encore, but we are making a pit stop first. Going to get into some things. You'll see. Stay tuned. Tuesday, October, who knows. It's 5:30, I'm at the Bellagio. I'm gonna try to get into a game today. I was at the Bellagio yesterday, tried to get into a game. Waited 90 minutes, didn't get in. World Series in town, all the poker rooms are packed. I didn't feel like waiting for more than 90 minutes, so I left. Went over to the Encore, got into a game there. It was kinda meh, so I went home. If you follow me on IG, you probably know the rest of the story. Got a message from my friend Vanessa. She asked if I wanted to go to the Bieber concert at XS, at the Wynn. So we headed over there. Got to see my boy Bieber do his thing. We stayed out way too late. Drank way too many adult beverages. Woke up this morning, my head's just kind of not the best. Not very conducive to playing poker. So I laid around most of the day, but I've made it out. 5:30. Let's get into some things. It only makes sense that the longer I live in Las Vegas, the more people I meet, and therefore the more people I know when I sit down at the table. For the majority of this session, the guy on my direct right is someone many of you may know as well, the Poker Priest. Does that have any relevance in this upcoming hand? Actually, probably not. Under the gun limps, and I raise in the low jack with pocket eights to $40. The big blind, who is brand new to the table, this is actually his first hand, calls, as does the under the gun limper. So there are three of us. Flop 6-5-9 with two clubs, and action is check to me. I elect to check it back as well. In hindsight, I missed the bet here. Live and learn. The two of spades brings in one draw, and neither of them most likely have it, as they both check again. Two streets, two checks to me, that's enough. I bet $70 into the 120, and surprisingly, both call. At this point, I'm thinking that most likely they're both drawing to something. The river? Well, the river is the 8 of diamonds, so I rivered a set, but now there's a 4-liner to a straight on board. It's at this point that the big blind leads out for $300 and gets snap called by the under the gun limper. A couple seconds of hemming and hawing by me, and my hand finds the muck. At showdown, the big blind shows 10-7 offsuit, and the under the gun limper disgustingly mucks. The small and big blind were playing especially tight at this point, so there was no reason not to steal liberally from the button. The next hand, in the cutoff with Queen 9 suited, a standard $30 open wasn't getting through the big blind. He was having none of it and 3-bet me to $120. Queen 9 suited just isn't going to cut it in this spot. Although normally a trivial fold, I was feeling a bit frisky and opened to $30 with pocket threes under the gun. Action folds around the Poker Priest in the big blind, and he makes the call. As expected, I'm not a gigantic fan of the rainbow 4-5-10 flop, and I decide not to c-bet when it's checked to me. The turn pairs the 10, and now he overbets for $80. Not convinced that his bet is for value, I make the call. The 7 of clubs falls on the river, and he checks again, which should open the door for me to bomb it here. But I don't. I check it back and lose to 6-7 offsuit. Back to my larcenous ways on the button, I make it $40 over an under the gun limp with 5-7 offsuit. This is a stretch, but whatever. They were really tight in the blinds. As expected, they quickly fold, but not so fast. The OMC under the gun limper now limp re-raises to $210, leaving himself with $150.
So he just has the one black chip, right? There's nothing back there.
Yeah, this is going to be a fold. In this next hand, my friend Poker Priest and I get entangled again. This time it begins with him opening $30 from the hijack and me finding pocket jacks in the cutoff and raising to $110. The action folds back around to him and he calls. The flop ace-3-8 rainbow isn't the stuff dreams are made of, but he stays in flow and checks it over to me. I do check some strong hands back here, but in this case, I think I may have missed a c-bet with the jacks. The turn 7 of clubs completes the badoogie, and he snatches control by leading for $130, a bit over half pot. Under-repped and primed to get bluffed by a player that knows how to bluff has left me in a predicament. However, you can't win if you fold. I call. The river pairs the 3, and bombs are dropped. He slides $400 into the middle, which is a bit under full pot. For this to be a profitable call, I only need to be right 1/3 of the time. We go deep into the tank here. I mean, I beat no value. None. But he didn't get to be a winning player by showing up with only value on the river. I make the call. He quickly exposes King 10 offsuit, and I exhale. The two players on my left being tight just didn't apply to button versus blind situations. It was also pivotal in hands like this next one. Under the gun has opened to $30 and under the gun +1 has called. The small blind calls and I also call with 6-5 offsuit. 4 of us see a flop of 3, 4, 8 with 2 hearts. Not a bad flop at all for my calling range out of the big blind and an excellent flop for my actual hand. The under the gun players shouldn't like this flop very much at all, and action is checked through when it's checked over to them. The turn 6 of diamonds is even better for me as it increases my equity because now I have a pair. I decide to bet $100 into $120 when the small blind checks it to me, and pretty quickly, everyone folds. Orbit later, I pick up the jacks again. There's some live poker dynamics going on here. The under the gun +1 player has opened to $30. A friend of his is standing behind him and they are chatting about being late to something. The hijack has flatted the open. Poker Priest on the button has flatted the open. And this isn't a slam dunk 3-bet by any means. But the fact that the opener is in a rush to leave factors into my decision. I raise to 170 and he insta-folds and leaves the table before my chips are even counted. Not too long after, everyone else folds as well. Small blind versus big blind encounters are something I'm actively working on improving, as it's not a portion of the game dynamics you really have to concern yourself with in pot-raked games, because most people just chop. Bellagio 510, however, is a timed rake game. There isn't much, if any, chopping. Let's see how I handle this one. Action folds around to our friend in the small blind, and he opens for $30. I look down at a suited one-gapper in 9-7 of hearts and make the call. Heads up, we see a flop of Jack 5 deuce with 2 hearts and he checks it over to me. I most likely don't have the best hand at this point, but I have a draw and I have position, so that's enough for me to fire at this. I choose $50, which in hindsight might be a little too big, but either way, he finds the call. The turn 6 of clubs gives me additional equity with a pretty hidden gut shot, and I bet $100 when it's checked to me again. This time, there's an extended tank before he calls. Again. The river is absolute gin, the 8 of diamonds, which fills my gut shot and is checked to me once more. Now it's my turn to tank for a bit as I settle on a bet size. Looking at the board, the only apparent draw that came in would be 3-4 suited on the turn. Everything else missed. There aren't many hands that players would bet a large sizing with on the river that aren't bluffs, so I choose a large sizing as there's no reason to get cute and bet small just to fish for a call. He basically either has a jack and will pay me off, or he doesn't. I bet $320 in wait. And wait. He thought for a while before he finally released his hand. Mid-session update time for the 5-10 game at the Bellagio. Things are going well. Not great, not bad, well, good. Game is adequate. The game unfortunately isn't very action-packed, but the action that does transpire, at least so far, it's worked out in my favor. In the game for 1,600 and I think I'm maybe up 800, 900, somewhere in that range. I am in the middle of debating on whether I'm going to stay here though. I might head over to the Encore, have some friends in town. It's Sunday night, why not? But the positive part to here is Poker Priest is at my table. I like hanging out with him, good guy, haven't seen him for a while. And there's nothing wrong with this game. Why am I going to go over to the Encore if there's nothing wrong with my game here? I'll keep you posted. But as of right now, game's working. And I'm working it. And nothing bad has happened. And that's the mid-session update. And this is the watermelon juice. Okay. This vlog is way too long. It's not supposed to be this long. We're gonna have to split this bad boy up.
Everything glistens and everything's bright. Everyone's happy. Spirits are light. I am sitting here thinking, alone with my drink as
I told you the night wasn't over. I told you.
Do you remember when love was around? When we were aglow, the talk of the town.
But the problem is it's getting a little late because it's me and it's always getting a little late.
Can't help but think about you.
The game is still good and it looks like it might have just gotten better. So we are off. We're out of here. We're off the Sunday, 5:30 something, and we're at the Bellagio. We are going to try to, and we're at the Bellagio. We're going to try to get into a 5. If you follow me on IG, you saw that across Vegas and all the poker rooms, everyone's. But if you follow me on IG, If you follow me on IG, you probably, I didn't feel like waiting 90. Not very conducive. It's not very action-packed, but the action that, okay, this vlog is way too long. It's not supposed to be this long. We're gonna have to split this bad boy up.